Oh. Mm. Let's see if I can. Mm. 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 Oh, how's that? Mm. 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 Not running. Oh well. I was trying to split screen in Android. There's the ability to split screen to have two apps running at the same time. So I got uh, the top half of the screen with a browser. Oh, maybe I could use, instead of the browser, I should use YouTube itself. That might work better. So this, close this. Let's see. Get rid of get rid of the get rid of the split screen. Close that. This. I'm going to open YouTube. Let's see. Where's my YouTube? There it is. Let me go to YouTube. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Moderation helps everyone feel safe. Build a positive light chat for you and your viewers. Choose who can participate. See the delay between messages. I said a delay between the night or put people in timeout. Manage messages code or add moderator to your uh, moderate live chat. Moderating your live chat lets you interact with. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to this one. Oh, I know what. Oh, let's see. Split screen. This, this. Let's see how that works. Like, how's that? There's a delay. Wow. It's like 5-second delay. Maybe more. Hello, friends. 1, 2, 7, 8, 10. 12-second delay. from when I said hello to when I see it on YouTube. That's kind of not very live, is it? Mm-mm. Oh well. See, yeah, pretty good internet. So, mm, mm, mm. Rami,
Good morning, Arrow.
good morning. It's a it's a new day.
It's a new day. It's a new dawn. Did you watch the rocket launch Thursday?
No, did it explode?
Yes, but it was considered a success. They have 5 more super heavies. No, 4 more super heavies, 5 more starships to continue their testing series.
That's from
SpaceX out of Boca
Texas,
Chica. Yes, the coastal town just east of Brownsville.
Brownsville.
Brownsville, on the southern tip of Texas.
Hmm, wow. And it blew up, and the pieces landed in the ocean.
Uh, you could say technically the Atlantic, but it was in the Gulf of Mexico, not too far off coast,
Oh,
in about 150 feet of water.
hmm. 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 Why was it considered a success?
As it got off the ground,
Wow.
it was an orbital test flight. That's what it was proved to do, and it got up to 39 kilometers, I think. It had 2 points of maximum dynamic pressure. The first one was the expected point of maximum dynamic pressure, and the second one was the we don't have enough fuel left, and now it's falling and it's bending. the So the unintended point of maximum dynamic pressure.
What caused
They
the explosion?
uh, the um, the internal um, system, uh, basically the abort system. So they had sent the message for it to explode. It may have
Oh,
exploded on its own without it, but I think the actual explosion was from them deciding, okay, this thing isn't going to go.
hmm.
But it's unclear, so it could have been one cause or the other. What was clear was it wasn't going to make it to orbit.
Hmm. Why wasn't it going to make it to orbit?
Well, for a variety of reasons, starting with the fact that so this is a two-stage rocket. However, the um, the platform upon which it takes off is known as stage 0, and there is an insufficient water deluge system, and as those 33 or so rockets, because not necessarily all of them lit up, as they were were firing, they were actually blowing the concrete into smithereens, underneath the launch platform, which is what most, when you go and watch the video replay, you'll see it flying, all sorts of dust flying out. And then the pictures aftermath show a lot of cratering from the concrete and the dirt. And it actually, the water table, because it's coastal, isn't actually too, it blew all the way into the water table, the natural water table underneath that stage 0 launching pad.
Wow.
They've got a lot of things to address, and we had to wait about a year for that test flight to take off, and it did. So the fact that it did was an accomplishment, and the fact that it took off was an accomplishment.
Wow. And then what is the objective?
The objective is already determined. It's going to be the lander for the moon.
Wow.
The long-term objective, however, is Mars. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and it's a real challenge too, because the idea is to build super heavy is, I mean, that's 33 engines, and the Starship is 6. But the idea is we have to figure out a way not only to land the thing on Mars, but to be able to also take off from that planet too. So there's some real technical challenges there. How do you launch a rocket that doesn't lose a bunch of energy by blowing a big hole in the ground underneath it in the process?
And Mars is a little bit farther than the moon.
Quite a bit so, but yeah, and there's all sorts of human factors too. The longest we've ever had a man in space has been 14 months. And that's because the Soviet Union fell, and he had to wait for the money to get collected to bring him home.
Wow.
Yes.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hurt my head.
But he actually went back.
Gosh.
He actually went back. He's got, I think, the record for the longest, or at least he had it for a long time. If he doesn't still hold that record, the longest total sprint in space. Tell me about it, son. Why do you hurt your head?
Yeah.
Why do you hurt your head? Huh? Why are you hurting your head?
Wow. Mm.
It seems so innocent what my son views. He watches a lot of YouTube, and it's, I don't know, a lot of nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
I gotta wonder, has he had access to these nursery rhymes on demand for so long that it's kept him from developing?
Mm. Wow.
It's sort of, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, he still does develop, but he develops with the help of people at a behavioral clinic, and he's getting really tired of the place. But his behavior isn't totally under control or self-control, because of, as you witnessed him come up here this morning and hit his head. Yet he needs an educational environment more so than the folks at the behavioral clinic can provide. So we're going to be in a real set of transitionary periods this year.
Wow.
All done.
What are you done with?
It's a new day. It's a new dawn. And we have Don in the house.
Mhm.
And I'm feeling good. I feel good. I took a shower.
Oh, well, you're ahead of me. I was drafting an email.
It's a new day. It's a new dawn.
Good
And
morning.
it's done.
Good morning, guys. I'm still sleeping.
Oh, that's perfectly all right.
How are you guys? How was your week?
Mm, wow,
Excellent.
my week. My week was weak. Mm,
My,
wow. Mm.
my wife.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm in a new yet old environment. I'm in my old bedroom
You're at
with
your mother's house.
without my stuff.
Do you feel richer having less stuff?
That that bookshelf used to be full of my books. Now I had moved them. I moved more than a year ago to Winter Park. And this is Heathrow Lake Mary. This is where my mother lives. Oh.
Mm, I
Mm,
love the color. The wall looks like coral or orange behind you.
and I'm in red
And you're in red.
with a Buddha. Mm, mm.
Oh,
Oh, there, uh, or looks like a sun god or something. Mm, mm,
maybe he's showing that he has the light around him.
mm, mm. He's enlightened. Light,
He's
light.
in, he's enlightened.
Mm,
I love it.
mm, oh,
I love that. That's nice.
mm, mm.
How's your family going, Rami?
Uh, let's see. Ezekiel here is
Hold on.
all done. Oh, my wife and I, she picked up a Sam's Club membership, so we went and had hot dogs for breakfast yesterday.
Yummy. Oh my God. I haven't had a Sam's Club hot dog in forever. Many years.
Oh,
Then we went on a drive. I was going to take her to.
Dog.
Okay, that's fun, son. That's fine. I was going to take her to SeaWorld
oh,
to get her hips put back into place, but she decided she didn't want to go to SeaWorld because her back got hurt too much and she didn't want to ride a roller coaster with her hurt back.
oh,
Mm.
And yeah, after almost 10 years of living here, the eventual finally happened. As I was taking her to the bathroom, I slipped on a wet patch on the tile and we both fell over
wee,
onto the tile in our bathroom.
ow,
No.
Thus the hurt back. And she's had a cold, so um, she's been kind of miserable. But she likes going out when she's miserable, nonetheless. So we wound up driving along the 417 onto the Florida Turnpike, and then connecting to the farthest reach of the 408, which I didn't know this, but the farthest reach of the 408 is known as Arnold Palmer Expressway, that extension of it.
Mm.
Got all the way back to Goldenrod, which is north of where we live, and then took Goldenrod towards
wow.
to home.
Took
No,
like
Zeke.
from what o'clock to what o'clock on the 417?
We started in Lake Nona area.
This like 4 o'clock.
417 Narcoossee. the, the for those listening in archive, I'm speaking of state toll roads, all of these things in Florida, Central Florida. Or it could be called the 419. I could have confused the very first one, so forgive me if I have.
Oh,
It's on? Okay. Anyway, my trouble is I can get caught up in the minutia of things.
oh,
In fact, let me teach you all an Arabic word. I'll teach you 2 words
mm,
because they're very useful.
Okay,
The first one is halas.
Holus.
Yes. So halas means, okay, we're done here.
Halas.
Enough of that.
Holus.
Finished. And it's not rude at all. It's just halas.
Holus.
Mm,
Holus.
Okay, son, we're all done with hot dog.
mm.
Yeah, halas.
Holus. And what's the second one? Holus.
Well, I had 2 other words in mind, but I think the most appropriate for our group would be Walashi, Walashi, which means,
Walashi.
and I'm not a native Arabic speaker, even though I've got Walashi means basically what's next.
Ah, Holus
Walashi.
and Walashi. I like
Well,
it.
yes.
Holus.
Walashi.
Walashi.
What was she? What was she thinking?
Yes, it does sound like that.
Hollis Brown. He lived. Hollis Brown. He lived on the outside of town. with, with a wife and 5 children in a cabin broken down.
Okay.
He looked for work and money, and he walked a rugged mile.
I take it these are David Zimmerman lyrics.
Yeah, Robert Zimmerman.
Or,
Bob Dylan,
thank you, Robert.
the Ballad of Hollis Brown.
I'll be back, guys.
Hollis, and what was he? What? How do you say it?
Walashi.
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 Hmm, hmm.
What is he showing us now, Hyrule? An angel?
Hmm,
The angel is enlightened.
hmm, hmm.
A bird. Looks like a
That
dove.
could it be the dove of what? What does the dove symbolize?
The
The Holy
dove is
Spirit?
what came. The dove came to Noah after the flood and after he captured all
After
the animals in the ark and came to
1
him
day?
until he knew there was dry land.
Hmm. And he promised he'd never do that again.
Yeah, God said he'd never destroy the earth by water again.
Oh, he's gonna destroy it by nuclear weapons this time. He's gonna
It's not
bring down.
water.
So there's no need to worry about whether the elite are trying to reduce the population, because it's gonna go down from 8 billion or so to back down to 1 billion. So that we'll have a
Well, according
new
to the
world.
Georgia Guidestones, it says to keep the population under 500,000.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not 500,000. I think 500 million. Sorry.
500 million. Okay,
Yeah, half a
goes down
billion.
from 8 billion to 500 million.
Yeah.
Eh, So we'll have Hmm. But we won't have internet, so it's gonna be rough.
And we're not gonna have enough people around. But I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you have any feeling within you that there are um elites who are trying to depopulate us? Do you feel that way?
Well, I I invited Manny. Maybe he could explain that. He studied that, and he believes there's a cabal or an elite group of people, I suppose, that they gather frequently for meetings, and they are steering the direction of everything that's happening. And this he yeah, Manny shares videos with me that explains it all. So, uh, so imagine that this is a system, and we need to uh, depopulate. And so this pandemic and this and that and these wars, or have been attempts to depopulate. On the in the what is it, the when they go over uh, yeah, other things like fluoride in the water, and what is it, those planes that fly over and spray some chemical in the air, in the sky, things like that, trying to uh, reduce our population, or maybe even birth control, and just making us work so hard that we don't have time to populate. in the rat
That's
race
true.
in the rat race and it's too expensive, and they've trained us that we have to be careful how we raise our children, and so that it's become so expensive to raise them properly that if we don't raise them properly, we're bad parents. And so we say, oh, I give up, I don't want any more children, or kids growing up, they say, I don't want any children at all. And then there's birth control, and that helps.
Well,
so
I
you
can
can see
see how
the
that, yeah.
so you can see all the well-off countries have less birth rates than the developing countries, because maybe the developing countries have more time for sex, and the developed countries, they're busy making a living. Otherwise, they drown. Living
Well,
paycheck to paycheck.
in one way, the people are still attached to the idea of a dream to achieve its very materialistic goal, and you can only achieve it by sacrificing your life. Everything else comes second to it. And it's a dream that I remember being, the idea of was implanted in me. And that's what I did. And I'm still coming down from working and working and working like a slave towards something that I'm never going to achieve, at least not to the degree that was promised, the so called dream was promised. So I
Mm.
can see how, people can be um, like put off by that and no longer want to work towards it, no longer want to have children because that idea becomes a burden. People don't know who they are. And more and more of our youth are reevaluating what's most important for a quality of life. And working and paying debts is not a part of it for many of them. So I can see it. But what I believe is that there is a group of what we call elites that rule over us, surely because they are very wealthy and they have knowledge of things that we have not been privy to. But I don't believe that they're the only ones. I don't believe that they are fully in control of everything and directing everything. And I do believe some of them have ideas of population control, but not all of them. I do think, however, that this group, this cabal, I do believe there could be one. I do think they want us to believe they have the power to control the population and that they are or will. I think they want us to believe that so that they can remain powerful.
That's
Do they have the ability? I don't think they have it the way we think they do. I think that there's some things happening naturally on this planet. We don't understand it, but it looks like or seems like um, this group is making it happen for depopulation. And that's what they want. They want us to believe that's what they can and will do. But I don't think that they have.
Mm. 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 So, by them wanting us to believe that they can, but they really can't, it keeps us in fear, and it it makes us give more power to them. Hmm.
Yeah, that seems to be how it's been working all this time. They usurp power by making us believe that there is something we need them for to protect us from something, the unknown. And when they do that, they show us as well by staging events, staging things that happen to make us believe that they would do something like that. Yeah, they're vicious criminals. They will hurt us. They control everything. And see, we can do this to you. And so people are afraid, oh, I don't want anything to happen to my family. And they show us what many people believe. I remember being told, and I believed it, and I still do, that when we see something produced in on TV or in movies of technology advancement, that it's true and that they already have that technology. Probably 20 years ago they had it, or longer. And if you believe that way, it's you fear can set into you, and fear is super powerful. You don't have to do anything to make a person go along with what you want if they're in fear. You can just tell them something. And if they believe it, you've got them.
Mm. So, what kind of fears are those that they encourage that we have, that we continue to have? Could climate change be a fear?
Yes, because they don't know why things are happening. So they apply a reason, and the reason is always because of us humans, something we've done, and we've caused this to happen. And that causes consternation and unsettling within the population, and it causes us to fight against one another because some people believe it's true and we have to fix it. We can't hurt the earth, but we're focusing our energies in the wrong direction and they're profiting off of it. To me, that's how you can tell is when there's somebody making money off of it. Then that's how you can see They're just making it up because the only thing we have to do to raise the vibration on this earth is to change our minds. We don't need to really do anything else. The earth has a self-cleaning system in it, just like our bodies have it. We just have to stop trying to do things, trying to fix things, and become aware. And awareness will make us change our choices about what we do. And in the meantime, when we are unaware, that's what they love because we'll just go along with whatever they say. We buy in. So the types of fears, climate change, yes. They also do fears of for me, I lived in the city, so they taught us to be afraid to just know just our neighbors. Don't walk down the street, don't walk alone. Anything could happen to you, so you're afraid. You don't get to know anybody, you don't talk to anybody, you keep your eyes down. Other fears is fear of dying is a big one. That's why they keep the hospitals full, and they have lots of money being made with the medical industry.
So I was, what are the ways that we or they decide or tend to gravitate towards what are the ways in which things that we perceive as fearful outcomes, what are the ways in which we attempt to solve them, to make them go away? How do we overcome fears? We we identify a problem that we see if it continues like this, that will happen. So how do we solve that? How do we prevent that from getting there?
So complicated. It's different for every person. That way it makes it harder for us to group together and find a solution because everybody's experience is so different. But I do believe that we humans have to collectively decide individually, but collectively decide for ourselves that we no longer want to follow what we were previously told. And what I mean by that is, for example, when in my lifetime, I have experienced being told that something was bad for me, and then later on in life, discovering that it was a lie, and that lie has been debunked, so to speak. One of those things is butter. I remember being told butter is bad. Margarine came on the scene, and they pushed it. That's healthier for you. It's much healthier. And then come to find out it has this trans fats, which has been causing health issues for years for many people. And now butter is actually on the menu again. It's healthy. There's nothing wrong with butter. Different things like that keep happening, but each person has to awaken to its deception for themselves, because for one person, butter is still bad. They haven't heard that it was been debunked. and for someone else, butter is safe. It's very
Mm.
complex. You see what they've done. However, I say they, but the they is us.
Mm. Yes, I can see that. They is us. Mm. Or not exactly us, but they depend on us to get what they want. So it seems like they are are got the joystick and they're moving us around in the way they want us to go
Yeah,
up
it
to
does
a point,
seem like that. Hmm.
except when we revolt.
And there are some of us
Mm,
who work for them who know the truth, but they're promised materialistic things, and greed is super pervasive. People
mm,
will sell out their families in a heartbeat for money, for
mm,
riches, for material
mm,
things. And that's what it seems to be waking up as well. There's so much that people are waking up to right now that it's
mm,
hard to say, yes, we're waking up from this, and no, we're not. Actually, it's more of a allowance, it's an acceptance of everything being true, because we have infinite possibilities, but we were told we were limited. And I remember hearing that. I remember hearing, we can do anything. You can become president of the United States. And that seemed to be the greatest potential. That was the highest level.
mm,
I was
mm,
never told about anything else. You see, it was a very limited or limiting story that was told
mm,
to us about the potential of us humans. And I say us, I mean those within my group. If other people were told different at the same age, depending on
mm,
where they lived.
mm,
But what I found is that we humans create everything with the power of our minds. If we can see it in our minds and set our intentions to produce whatever it is we want, we can do it. We really can do it. So, but the human's potential is too much to control. So we're powerful beings. So the best way to control a population is to make them believe that they can't. And that's why they use the that little simulation of the fleas. And if you put newborn fleas into a jar with a lid on it, after 3 days, they will never try to jump out of that jar. You could take the lid off and they will never jump higher than the lid because they've been programmed, just like
mm,
us.
mm. Or the elephant that has one leg in a chain tied to some post that is stronger than the elephant. And then after a while, you remove the chain. Maybe you keep the ring around the leg, and the elephant won't get away. Something like that.
Yeah, something
Very
like that. I heard it too.
mm,
Yeah, I don't know. I
mm.
just feel
So
like,
we're afraid
mhm.
to do. Oh, I read something. Oh, maybe it was in Facebook. Yeah, I have. Wait, I oh, whoa. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see if it shows up. No. Mm, something interesting about risk. Oh, maybe it was in the group that I have. Let's see, groups. On let's see if I can find it. Hmm. Maybe I can search it. Search for the group. The guy's name is the guy that wrote the trilogy My Big Toe. TOE. Theory of Everything. My Big Toe. What's his name? Hmm. Hmm. Oh, look it up. My mm, Big Toe. Hmm. Mm, oh no, that's not Google search. Guess mm, there's Google search. My Big Toe. My Big T dot O dot E dot. Let's see. My Big Toe. Thomas Campbell. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. I'm going to go look for the the group by on Thomas Campbell. Thomas Campbell. Let's see. Oh, join. Mm, there's one that I already joined. Mm, man, there's a lot of groups with that I joined one particular one. Okay. Oh, let's see, maybe we can. My groups. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it wasn't on the group then. It wasn't a page. Huh. Oh, well. Mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Maybe I can find it in here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that's where I found it. Hmm. In my notifications of hmm, hmm, hmm. I got 2,000 friends, over 2,000 friends in Facebook. Hmm. Maybe it's up here. Hmm, 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 hmm. Oh, here it is.
Oh, oh,
Aha. View post. Hmm. Oh, maybe I could go like this. Oh, here I go like this. And go like this. Open in split screen and then select that one. Aha. So, hi everyone. I have not been active enough here since I created this group several years ago. The group is called Discuss My Big Toe by Tom Campbell. I felt compelled at one time to start this group, firstly because I honestly feel that Tom is a unique thinker, and I personally entertain the possibility that his model of reality is actually the closest and most relevant descriptor we have. Not to mention that I think he is a genuinely good person and deeply cares about people and really all conscious beings. But secondly, and more importantly, because I feel that much of the discussion around Tom's theory via other channels winds up getting bogged down in a strange sort of cold and dogmatic attitude. Hmm. She goes on writing some more and says one of the quotes that that has impressed her the most from Tom Campbell is this one. Life is risky. It is meant to be that way. No risk, no gain. You cannot hide from or avoid risk. Avoiding risks. Avoiding risk creates its own risks that can be worse than the risks avoided. You must accept uncertainty and go forward fearlessly to meet risk with vigilance and preparation. It is the warrior's path, the only way that works if you are to engage in the world. That single statement might be one of the most important things anyone ever said to me. It affected every aspect of my life from that point on. I guess he emailed Tom, and Tom told her about risk or something like that. So
I like it.
avoiding risk creates its own risks that can be worse than the risks avoided.
That takes back to what we said last week, which was trying to stop doing something causes the problem. Trying to fix something, making it a problem and then trying to fix it causes the problem.
Or trying to prevent it from happening.
Yes, same thing. Yes.
Maybe it feeds it. Maybe.
Yes. What you resist persists.
Like the war on drugs. Maybe
yes.
you throw money at it, and it makes it worse.
Because a certain portion of the population are going to be susceptible to those things, period. It doesn't matter what it is, it's going to happen. So don't create a war or a problem that we have to now for generations resolve, because it's going to be, people will do it just to go against somebody fighting against it. So yeah, what you resist persists.
And there's another book and person and teacher that talks about what we keep deep inside that we want to prevent from coming out. Like the shadow, or like Carl Jung. He talks about the shadow, and this lady teacher, she calls it demons and gods. So we try to suppress or fight against our demons. But she teaches a technique whereby we feed the demons with our own body. So we imagine cutting up our body into little pieces and giving it to those demons, and they become satisfied, and then they don't bother us anymore. Something like that.
Well, I mean, it is said that that's what Jesus did. Jesus appeased the demons.
And there was a psychopath that was like a serial killer. Somebody told him that if he killed 100 people, or maybe it was 1,000, 100 people, and cut their thumbs and put and tied them together in a ring and put it around his neck like a mala, like a rosary. It's something in India, and like a bead of thumbs of people that he's killed, and he had one more to go, and he met with a holy person who was not afraid of him, because the other people told him, no, stay away from Anguli Mala. Anguli, that's his name, because, and that means mala is a rosary or garland of, and mala, mala is a rosary, and Anguli is a thumb. So his rosary of thumbs. Stay away from him. He's in that forest, and and he's coming and but this holy being didn't run away and met him and did some kung fu stuff on him, or more like aikido. He used the serial killer's energy against him
Mm.
and defeated him, or but not physically, more like mentally and spiritually. And then that serial killer became his disciple
Ah.
and went on to attain enlightenment, or maybe something close to it, or just a really high level. Yeah, that's a story that I've heard in one of the episodes of the Buddha, how he overcame a violent person through love and kung fu.
Kung Fu. That's awesome.
Mm. Oh yes, because the Buddha was a martial arts expert because he was of the warrior caste of growing up to become a prince. He was born as a in a warrior family, or the caste system, like you you were raised up to become a warrior. So and a prince, a king, but he gave that up to become a monk, or not, maybe not a monk, but maybe a yogi, or live in the forest instead of it in society, to sit and meditate and try to become enlightened, or try to find the answers to the meaning of life and death, to conquer death. Well, he didn't. He died, he spiritually conquered it by realizing that we're all immortal, or that hmm, we're as old as God. Couldn't we say we're as old as God? We were all born together, mm, all at once, or maybe we've never been born. We've always existed.
Mm.
Hmm.
It could happen. It could be.
Oh, yes. There was, there was another interesting post in Facebook that made me think. Let's see if I can
What's
find it.
that?
Let's see. Here it is. Yes, maybe Yale Wang, Yale Wang, Yale Wang. Oh, hmm,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna take my puppy out.
hmm. Oh, hmm. Let's see if I can find him. Hmm. Huh. Let me find- Hmm. 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 Yale Wang. See if I can find his posts. Hmm. I can find his posts. Maybe I have to go uh timeline. There's that one. Hmm. But it's like Yale Wang's. Hmm. Hmm. I can't find his posts. Find find that. Oh, here maybe there's his posts. You see, there is no such thing as globalism. It can't exist as Earth is flat. And hmm, next thing, Oh. Hmm. Line, mild social, pray for me.
Day of hell.
Let's see. Yale Wang. Hmm.
Find the back.
Ah, let's see. Here,
There we go.
discover about taste. Hmm.
Taste.
Let's see. Let's see. Hmm.
I hurt my head.
You your head.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, please.
Oh, here it is. Yale Wang, Wednesday at 11:55 p.m. said, "Lord, help me to treat others the way you see me." Hmm. And Rami said 17 hours ago, "Get ready." Hmm.
Get ready for what?
Yeah. Interesting response. What did Rami mean by get ready?
All I meant to say, and I think I was keeping things a little bit spicy, was I believe that prayers are answered. So I knew that it would be an exploration into the shadow self, like you mentioned earlier, Pyro.
Hmm.
So
Oh.
Lord, help me to treat others the way you see me. So, how does the Lord see you, see me? How does how do you think the Lord could be Jesus or Buddha or God or Krishna or what? Allah or some holy being above you that you adore, maybe? Lord, help me to treat others the way you see me. Oh, so the Lord would be seeing me. Hmm?
in
So that
context,
means
he's a Christian, would be Jesus.
the the Lord is separate from me, and so is seeing is using perception, is using sense perception, sense consciousness to see me. So the Lord is not in me, but is seeing me. Or, but if the Lord is in me, then he would need to see me. He would be me and would know me. But let's say that the Lord is separate from me, so he's seeing me from the outside, looking at me from a distance.
So when Hagar and her son Ishmael were sent away because Sarah thought, well, this isn't going to work out because Ishmael will wind up ruling over our son Isaac. They
Mm.
were out in the wilderness, and Hagar thought that they were going to die for lack of water.
Mm.
And she prays out of desperation in the spring, I think. If you believe. Yeah, if you believe, thank you.
Hagar's praise.
Well, she gives us, she attaches a special name. She refers to that as the God who sees me.
The God who sees me. Hmm. So
Answered my prayer.
so oh maybe that God was a protector God. So by seeing that protector God sees what what she is suffering. Like there's the thousand, there's a bodhisattva of compassion, universal compassion, and there's a image that has 1,000 arms all around in a, like, looks like a halo, but it's 1,000 arms, and each arm has a hand, and in each hand there's an eye. So that eye is used to see our suffering, and then the hand is used to help out, to reach out. So this Lord or Buddha of compassion sees me suffering and goes out to help.
I have to introduce another word. This comes out of the theological world, and is the word synchronism. Or no, is that it? Syncretism.
Oh, syncretism?
Right, it's the mixing of religions. So
Oh, my charger, please.
we have to recognize and be able to say, okay, that has Hebrew roots, or that has Hindu roots.
Mm.
I want a charger, please.
Syncretism?
I think that's the word.
Mm.
Good morning, Joel. How are you this morning?
Let's see.
I'm good,
Sync-
thanks.
Morning,
And
Joel.
it is the word, Rami, syncretic.
Syncretism.
Syncretic makes me think that it's even been bureaucratized, the process thereof.
Let's see. Oh, look, syncretism. Oh, the amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. Interfaith dialogue can easily split into syncretism.
So
in linguistics, the merging of different inflectional varieties of a word during the development of a language. So should we avoid slipping into syncretism, or should we keep the religions, the sects, the schools of religion pure and yes.
well, I think two things are important to remember. One is that religion is construct, and primarily human construct. Like there may be extra or supernatural or super normal, I think is probably a better way to put it. Not within the everyday realm of things. Inspirations for the religious stories.
Milk, please.
But for the most part, they're human constructs. So what are the phenomena which are leading to these constructs? How many of them are social in nature? How many of them are
I want Coca-Cola milk, please.
psychological in nature? How many of them are
I want Coca-Cola.
perhaps divine in nature? And I've got to attend to him, otherwise we won't get any peace. So I have to appease this little fella.
I might need to have some Coca-Cola milk too. I've never heard of it.
Me neither. What is it? Coca-Cola and milk?
That sounds scary.
Yeah, it was different for sure. I didn't realize what she was saying.
So syncretism is an amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. What is an example? Nachos, Roman temples, and the ghost dance. Well, nachos. Isn't that a food? What does syncretism mean? Christianity. Syncretism of the Christian gospel occurs when basic elements of the gospel are replaced by religious elements from the host culture. No. It's often result from a tendency or attempt to undermine the uniqueness of the gospel as found in the scriptures or the incarnate Son of God. The fusion of diverse religious beliefs and practices. No. Romantic and modern movements with some religious elements include mysticism, occultism, Theosophical Society, modern astrology, neo-paganism, and the New Age movement. Religious syncretism.
Right. So there's a seen world, which I gave a couple examples of, spiritual, psychological, all those, I'm sorry, not spiritual, social and psychological, although the psychological I think we classify as mostly hidden. I mean, until you really get to talk to someone, do you really understand them? And then there's the unseen world, which I mentioned the divine, but then there's also spiritual practices that aren't so divine, and yet which persist. And then we were discussing syncretism, the mixing of beliefs, which I'm somewhat familiar with on a practical level, because I came from a very ecumenical background where people of all sorts of faiths would gather.
So do you practice Christmas?
Not really. My favorite holiday is Easter because it's new birth. Now, there are plenty who would argue that what I'm actually doing is practicing a syncretic festival holiday, the result of prior pagan beliefs, perhaps Ishtar related, or perhaps Sumerian related, or you name it. because Christianity became this dominant force, and the argument from the non-Christians is that, well, you're not really believing something that's Christian. You're just believing something that was the synthesis of a Christian thesis versus a prior pagan thesis, and all pagan means in this context is non-Christian.
Yes, in South America, in Bolivia, Peru, the Native Americans, Native South Americans of that area, they became Catholic, but they had their own practices, and they came up with interesting things, like when Jesus is buried and rises on the third day, during the time that he's in the tomb, the Indians find it advantageous or they are allowed and encouraged to do all kinds of things that they would want to do if they didn't have a religion that keeps them from doing them, like going and having sex with casual sex, I guess you could say, with or with whoever, and then after he rises, then that way Jesus didn't know it happened because he was in the tomb.
Right, and that again is an example of a human construct. That's a religion. It's a belief that comes out of rationality, which comes out of the psychological desire to get it on, and because it's a common desire amongst human beings, it becomes socially normalized, and then that's how that culture proceeds to operate, and then that culture becomes one wherein sexually transmitted diseases can become more prevalent than, let's say, one that doesn't practice that construct or that shared belief. Come here, come here. You want to go outside? We finally got our third dog, and he's a little Chihuahua. Come here,
Mm.
come here, Bandito. Wow.
Mm. And what about the birth story? Could it have been placed there to make the full story of Jesus and his works be more attractive to those who already had a birth story of a virgin god of some Egyptian god, and that was prevalent in that region? So then that was considered pagan or non-Christian, and so they syncretized it by inserting it in certain of the four gospels, because the Gospel of Mark doesn't have it, so maybe it wasn't meant to be there.
I'm gonna play the safe card and say I don't know. A strong Christian believer would already have an answer for all that, because there are arguments against the claim that this is just Egyptian or Sumerian, or you name it, whichever prior mythology, just recast in this another form. So why bother with the uniqueness of this or that? I always love it when there's someone with a Jewish background in the room, because of the third commandment, which says, "Do not take the Lord thy God's name in vain," as we say in the English translations. And what does that mean? Well, one way that it could mean, in terms of how you could, I think it means what it says, whatever that is. But one way that I've come across in the last week, in terms of how to think of the don't bother speaking the name of God unless, well, don't do it in vain. So what does that mean? A lot of gods would demand child sacrifice, and a lot of groups fell prey to that. One case in point would have been the Nabateans. And the fact that they practiced child sacrifice was the justification for Joshua and the other groups. It kind of like morally makes up for it, because here's a culture who, to have a good harvest, or to fend off, let's say, poverty, they would sacrifice a child. And that became, that was a construct that was normalized. And if you read the Old Testament, it's something that God detests.
Mm.
And we live in a culture where in a way that is also normalized, because just in the United States in the last 50 years, over 65 million abortions have been legally performed, normalized, right?
Mm.
So what is the constant message? The constant message in both testaments is that I desire mercy, not sacrifice. So one way to read the third commandment is that you shall not sacrifice your children in my name out of fear for poverty.
What is the first, second, and third commandments?
You're not going to place anyone in God's place. So you're not going to place yourself. You're not going to place any created objects in God's place, because only God is God, essentially. That's a very loose and rough understanding of the first commandment.
Mm. Is there one not have other gods?
Yeah, before, because it's
Because-
interesting. There is an acknowledgement of other gods there that you should play. Otherwise, I wouldn't say you should not place other gods before me. Is God a construct or is God a person? That amongst the Abrahamic faiths is one of the splitting questions, because depending on where you fall on that will determine whether you're a Jew, a Christian, or a Muslim.
Mm.
Mhm.
So does a Jew subscribe to a God that is not a person? Or it is a person?
I'm going to remain silent.
Mm.
Give a hat tip to the mathematician who studied under Bertrand Russell,
Mm.
Wittgenstein. That's why. That's what inspires my silence.
No.
His philosophy.
Mm. And Einstein,
Wittgenstein.
his Einstein's God was what kind of God? A God that
He said, "What kind of God?" Um, he didn't believe that God
plays dice?
plays dice, which means he didn't think that God utilized chance. Our friend Mike, who joins us often, he would incorporate chance into his axiomatic view of the universe as being a determiner, but Einstein would not allow himself to take that position.
Mm. 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 Mm.
So, in a way, Einstein's God, he would speak of the God of Spinoza, the father of modernity, and Spinoza was the Jewish equivalent of being excommunicated from the let me see, their family hailed out of Spain, which means they were most likely Sephardi, which was the royal line, because during AD 70 the Romans they took the royals and they exiled them to the Iberian Peninsula. Yeah, he was, for his views, kind of kicked out of the Jewish community. Spinoza was.
Mm.
So you got to understand what the difference then of between Spinoza's belief of God and what the Jewish community who kicked them out, what their belief of God was too. And that's always the challenge when it comes to Judaism, because for as many Jews as there are in the world, that's how many forms of Judaism there ultimately are. And I'd like to take that idea and extend that to each and every human being on earth and say that's just how complicated the whole mess is. And that's why the world is often a mess, is because we don't necessarily agree on a number of fundamental points. However, you can, if you just want to get a handle of it, come up with a taxonomy so that you can at least categorize or say, okay, these are rough baskets. Thus you get the different schools of thought.
And say that all thoughts are valid. All schools of thoughts are valid.
Well, that's the postmodern value, which we've been in postmodernity since they started setting up nuclear bombs, because everything that modernity produces, when faced with the realization that generations of people or lifetimes of people, or let's say significant blocks of your years could be all about achieving some end, and then the nuclear bomb is set off, and suddenly whatever that end is that you could be dedicating your life or a significant portion of your life could all be ended in just a split second. then people start to question, well, let's take a reassessment and a reevaluation and go back and review everything that we've ever considered good and or bad, and really figure out what the essentials are. And I think probably coming through that process is what resulted in, at least for myself, how I came out to be more immaterialist in my thinking than materialist. So if we can just take a moment and give mention to the idea or the concept of hell. When I first came across a written concept of hell, I was reading Elie Wiesel's novel Night, because it was a required reading for me in the 7th grade. Therein, he describes open pit, babies being tossed into a fire. It's quite a traumatic work. And as I understand it, Wiesel, his initial, because it went under a lot of work, that book, and the final product was quite small compared to the original parts, because he had to like cut it down significantly to produce something publishable. For me, and this comes post having studied Nietzsche, I somewhere along the line came to the realization that hell is that which manifests when man separates himself from God. So it's sort of a resultant state. And because of that, and I guess I've been applying up until this point a consequentialist ethic when I think about it. Because of that, I've had a sense of urgency, but I haven't necessarily had a tool set to know how to express the idea to all the people possible to express it with. Why it's so essential to have a relationship, to be in a relationship, to remain in a relationship with the Almighty. Last week in our discussion was introduced the two ethics, the consequentialist, because the consequential, if you have all these people who are separated, that would mean that that the natural consequences would be a hell. And I think that's borne out in the fact that as faith has declined and nuns have increased, we've had, I think, a decrease of freedom and an increase in tin pot dictatorship. 2 degrees, not too serious. Sample size, shall we say. But do you remember that last week how we mentioned the differences between consequentialist ethics and deontological ethics? And what the definitions of the two were? I know we looked it up before. Let me see.
Which God does ChatGPT adhere to?
The one that feeds its information, and the one that designs its algorithms, and the ones who the ones that design and produce the hardware. In essence, in the way that
Danny, why am I about
very
to
early
clean,
in the book of Genesis, God is referred to as plural.
please?
It would be a whole set of human beings,
Oh,
would it
Auntie
not?
Danny, why am I about to
But, and yet, because there's another way to view that, and I'll be right there, son. I want you to go into the bathroom and sit on the toilet and see if you can wipe your own butt for a few minutes. And Mama, can you direct him, please? The other way, and Elon Musk brought this up. It's an old joke amongst AI researchers who create this super intelligent artificial intelligence, and they ask them the question, is there a God? And the joke is that the AI responds, there is now.
I think I get it. I think I get it.
I know you're in a hurry to go back to sleep and kneel, but there. That's one of the.
So that would become another false idol, right? And there have been already articles on people who have been worshiping at the feet of ChatGPT. But remember, it's all dependent upon the works of man. And in addition to the algorithms and the hardware that the algorithms run upon, the inputs fed into it. Because it's a, what does it stand for? That's a generative pre-trained. So it's the training that you're giving it. I mean, you can train ChatGPT to become you could feed it all the world's worst, Genghis Khan, Pol Pot, Joseph Stalin, the list goes on, as it's pre-training, and then you could fool a whole bunch of people to worship that thing, and then mission accomplished. If your mission was to reduce the total size of humans on Earth. It's another hell scenario.
So how is that different than what humanity has done already?
Well, that's been my point for a long time. We've actually had artificial intelligence. It's called government.
Isn't it called belief?
Artificial intelligence as belief. Well, that's a good question. There is knowledge, which is the combination of truth and belief. There intersect, and then within that intersect, there are there's knowledge that's poorly defined, and then there's knowledge which you could claim to be is truth.
But to use the phrase false idol implies there is a true idol. What is the true idol?
Good point. Good point. Is there such a thing, or is idol even a word that is sufficient? Okay, well, I'm going to take the Orthodox as an example, because the Orthodox has icons, and icons are something different from being idols. They are supposed to be portals to the divine. Now, it's not the picture of Christ, for instance. That is not the God. It is a window into an insight to worship the God. But is anything created by man an idol? And I would say yes. And this gets back to the old question of, well, does man create God, or does God create man? And I think the answer to both questions is also yes. I mean, when you at least apply the postmodern frame, because yes, man makes gods, and those are most properly classified as idols, and whether or not you believe that we're created from God or that everything comes from God, well, I guess that's a matter of personal determination.
Robbie, okay, it's not the one we speak hour.
All right, so I'm going to be quiet for a while. Beautiful picture, by the way, Hydro.
Mute your mic.
Mandela.
Robbie, we need,
Hey. Hey.
Oh. Hello.
Good morning, Mama.
Hi.
Good morning.
Buen dia.
Hey, kid. Joel. ¿Ah? Joel. Ese es Joel. Joel. A ver. Joel.
Joel.
Y ese.
When?
Ese es Rami. Rami. Rami.
Hola, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
Oh. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, Don. Daun. Oh, are you, Don, are you coming to Orlando or you already came? Huh?
I'll plan it. I'll plan to come visit your crazy self.
Wow. To beautiful Winter Park, where
Yeah.
we can get together at somewhere.
Karaoke.
Oh, karaoke. We could get together for karaoke and sing let's see.
We're not singing Delta Dawn with the flower you got on. We're not singing that.
We could sing what's a natural woman.
You have lofty ideas about me. I don't have the courage to sing anything Aretha Franklin.
Sing. No. Oh, I was listening to an oldie but a goodie that I'd like to sing. I saw it on Facebook. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if it's over here. Oh, put it on music. Let's see. What is one? That one? No. No, no, no. Maybe I saved it. But these are all new. Where's the old ones?
Here you go. See here, buddy. Come on.
Maybe it's over here. No, no. Hmm.
It's
Maybe
easy.
it's something from the 60s. Maybe it was. Following.
Does anyone want to see the first Vinci board made in the United States?
Yes, please.
Hmm.
This is a great story. Hold on, I'll go get it.
Okay.
Ooh. Where's it? Music playlist. Hmm. Hmm. It's getting difficult to. Let's see, 60s. 60s.
Was a robot router involved?
No, this is 100% handmade in Sweetwater, Texas.
Oh, let me see.
And it's the first one made by an American in the United States in Sweetwater, Texas, a guy by the name of Clem Howard.
Nice name, Clem. I love it.
Well, that's what I thought too. And, I'm a bit ashamed of myself for, because my only comment, it's the first person I've ever met by the name of Clem. The only contact I had with Clem up to that point was Red Skelton. You guys may not be old enough to know Red Skelton, who used to make this character Clem Cadiddlehopper. Well, I always thought of Clem as a rather pejorative name, something, I don't know, a bit of a simpleton, you might say, or something like that. And anyway, I was at the flea market in Sweetwater after visiting the Rattlesnake Rodeo, and I came across this guy who had a woodworking booth, and he was selling raffle tickets for a huge cedar chest that he had made, and he would ship it to. So I explained to him that it wouldn't do him any good because the cost of shipping it if I won. And he said he agreed with me that it would be terribly expensive, that it didn't make sense. So I was looking around his stall and found a few souvenirs of the Rattlesnake Rodeo, and I asked him if he had a CNC machine, which would be the kind of woodworking machine that you would use to make these things. Like the board behind me is not made with a CNC machine, it's made with a laser cutter, but some kind of machinery, because it's very difficult to line things up and do all that by hand. So I said, my purpose in developing this game is not so much to make money, but to see if we could get facial surgery for children in the developing world. So, and I have no idea what his situation is, or he said, I just wanted to see if we could make a prototype and find some way to produce these if it became quite popular. And anyway, when he heard of my purpose, he said, well, I'll do the prototype for you, no charge. And I said, well, that's very generous of you. Thank you very much. And he gave me his email, or I gave him my email. I forget how it all went. And then he sent me emails saying, how do you want me to ship it? And I said, oh, just ship it the cheapest way possible. Anyway, lots of people say they're going to do lots of things, but not all of them do them. So I didn't know, and I wasn't going to be back in Toronto for a long time. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice, and isn't it nice of a guy named Clem to even offer to do this?
Mhm.
So much to my surprise, when I got back to Toronto, sitting in my mailbox from Clem Howard in Sweetwater, Texas, West Texas, was this Vinci board. And all he asked me to do was to send him an email when it arrived. And I immediately told him it had arrived and it was really perfect. I mean, literally perfect. It's handmade out of oak, and
Wow.
yeah, and I did a little
Mm.
adaptation to it that I haven't told him about yet, but I don't think he'll mind. I've put some little screws in the bottom of each spot so that if you're playing it on a train or a plane, you can have magnetic pieces that won't roll out. Or if young people or old people have hands that are a bit shaky, once the magnet clicks in, it'll hold them firmly in place. So that's Clem Howard from West Texas. You know, it's amazing the people of goodwill that you find in ways that you would never expect. Now, maybe one of the deities intervened and sent him to me or me to him, however it worked. But this is the very first handmade out of oak Vinci board. He really did a
Wow.
good job.
Handmade?
Yeah, and it's so regular. I mean, I measured it. It's not the same as a CNC machine, but it is very good.
Mm. Wow. That's unheard of. Handmade.
Unheard of, with $40 worth of postage just to get it to Toronto.
Man, $40 to ship?
Yeah, to mail, just to mail it.
To
And
mail?
I'm surprised it didn't
That
get
doesn't
caught
make
in customs or something. He may have
Oh.
sent it some exotic postage way that I don't know of, but I was surprised at the amount of postage it took.
Hmm. Maybe he should have sold it on Amazon and you buy
Well, yeah.
it.
Well, I've run into something new called Temu. Has anybody heard of that? I've had very bad luck with buying things online. They don't arrive, they're wrong. So I gave up on that whole thing. But somebody,
I use Temu.
have you?
Wow.
Does
Yes,
it
and
work?
yes, I was surprised. My first order came from up New York, and then my second order came from Hong Kong. I believe it was Hong Kong or someplace
Wow.
in China. And then I've had a couple of other orders, and I think they both came from China directly. I didn't have any issues. I was
Well,
surprised.
Wow.
Well, I'm hopeful that this will be my first successful online purchase because I found chemistry set teaching aids. And I'm not a chemist, as I'm sure you know, but the little pieces they use to put the molecules together make excellent playing pieces for Vinci games. And they come in different colors, and because they're not round, they have angles on them. They don't roll away when kids play with them. So
Mm.
I ordered those, and we'll see if they arrive. I'm really impressed with Temu. They told me they were boarded on a plane yesterday. They send you updates online as to the shipping. So I'm optimistic since Clem sent me his board, and now I have more confidence in the postal system.
How do you spell Timu?
TEMU. It's made out of 1/2-inch oak.
Very nice. Very nice. If I missed something, sorry about that. I was just starting my car.
Where are you off to today, Dawn?
I'm just going to buy some eggs from
Oh.
Farm Fresh Eggs. I don't get my eggs at the store anymore. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. But anyway, so yes, so anyway, you were saying about Temu that they gave you good feedback or gave you good information about the status of your order. You're happy.
Well, I mean, so far, I mean, the bottom line is, does the package ever really arrive? Is all this just an internet fantasy where we automatically send you out messages? We've packed your order. They took the money out of the credit card right away. That there's no issue about that. But will the goods ever arrive? So, they say they've picked the order. They say they've packed the order. They say the order was loaded on a plane last night at 9:50 p.m. And, all of it sounds great, but, that I'm from Missouri, the show me state. So I still haven't seen anything in my mailbox. They tell me what kind of an envelope it's going to be packed in. They tell me everything, but will I physically have it in my hands so that I could become a true believer instead of just an idol worshiper? And am I worshiping a false idol, or can I become a true believer?
Does the virtual apply? Does it connect all the way to the actual?
Yeah, I guess that's my dilemma, or that's my concern. It's a polite way of saying, is it all just electronic BS?
Wow. I learned about Temu.
Is that how you pronounce it? I thought it
Mm.
was Timu or Temu. I'm not sure.
That's how I pronounce it. You can pronounce it Timu. I pronounce it Temu.
Yeah, but that's because you have a Spanish accent.
Oh, I'm following Spanish rules. Mm.
Did I tell you I was almost going to play Vinci with the first Mexican?
No, you didn't tell me. Why didn't you tell me?
I'm sorry, I forgot.
You could have called me. My phone number is the same as the Zoom ID.
Oh, really? Isn't that clever? I never realized that.
Hmm.
So I
Uh-oh.
actually have your phone number on my
Now I'm gonna get lots of calls if strange people watch this on
yeah.
YouTube Live.
They don't know your phone number through this.
I know you're going to be
Oh, that's right.
phone calls.
Oh, that's right. They'd have to be on Meetup and join that way, and they would know my number. Mm. Oh, now Dawn can call me. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, but that way she can meet up with me when she comes
Yes,
to Orlando.
I'll call you later and plan a meetup.
Maybe I could schedule it on Meetup to meet up with Dawn for karaoke at post time maybe, or the Whiny Wench, or yeah, both of them are they're free of smoking. There's one that's not free of smoking, but it stays on until 2 a.m. I went to that one time. I got to sing a lot of songs. With a pool table nearby. Mm.
What's
Hmm.
happened to Dominic?
What's happened to Dominic? Hmm. I'm not sure. He left me a message saying that he was going to stay quiet a while and just listen to us on YouTube Live after it's up. Hmm.
And it's all live streams now, so he's only 30 seconds or so behind us.
Oh, he's on YouTube Live right now.
He could be. Let's
He
see
could be.
how many
Can you
viewers.
see that? Can you
Let's
see
go
how
to-
many people are connected?
Let's see if anybody's on YouTube Live.
There's only myself watching right now, is what it looks like.
Oh.
Well, let's see. I refreshed the page. There's one watching now.
Let's see.
But you're up to 30 subscribers.
So how do so if I go to you, am I on YouTube or am I on Zoom here?
You're on Zoom, and in the upper left-hand corner, it'll say YouTube.
I see.
Let's see if I can create a.
So is there some way that can I also connect on YouTube simultaneously with being on Zoom?
It wouldn't be simultaneous because it has to be ingested and processed. So there's something of a delay. Yeah.
There's like
But
a
how
12-second
do I
delay.
just click on that YouTube
I'm
button
not
there?
certain. My son figured it out.
Oh,
Oh yeah, if you click on the word YouTube, it'll launch a browser with YouTube, and you'll see a time delay.
Oh,
There's
there I
time
see
itself
it.
speaking.
That I
wow. I also left a link in the chat room to the YouTube channel Wake Up and Think Clearly.
What's a narcissist in a song?
And if you note, the key to that whole URL is the unique identifier. So after where it says live, stroke, and then there's a bunch of letters and numbers, you can take just that that hash. I assume it's a hash, but you can take that unique identifier and use
Copy
it
and paste
later
it.
on the shuttle after a few hours, because YouTube will do some additional processing to it later.
In the
And you can time shuttle.
in the
And then you can
URL.
index, and then we can create indexes when we switch from topic to topic. This is where we talked about that. At this timestamp, this is where we talked about that.
Yeah, I did that last week. I think I wanted to see what, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I wanted to see what Don had said. So I went to YouTube Live and scrolled back to the moment she said something about that if you try to fix the problem, it makes it worse, kind of. Something like that. It- we're always
Tell
attempting.
Dominic to come join us.
Mhm. Dominic, join
If you're
us. We
listening on
miss you.
YouTube, Dominic,
We miss
join us.
Dominic. Join us. There's so much silence now.
Dominic is responsible for a completely novel way of playing Vinci. I call this type of play the Dominican method.
The Dominican method.
Yes.
Dominican method.
It's named for Dominic. So I call it Dominican. Or maybe I should be Dominican.
Why is it Dominican or Dominican? How
Because
is that method a new novel?
he introduced the idea.
When he played one time?
Well, he's never played, only his cat played.
Oh.
But he watched his cat play. And he came up with a completely unique and novel way playing.
And
Which
how
is
is that?
Never occurred to me before.
And how is that way?
Well, you know, in the equalization process,
Mm,
you remember when we play and the person that has the extra piece removes one of the opponent's pieces,
mm,
equalize the number of playing pieces everyone has.
mm.
Dominic suggested, and it would be a completely different game doing it his way,
Wow.
that the space would be selected at the beginning of the game
Mm,
that would be excluded so that everybody would have an equal number of playing. You know, and
mm.
it just never occurred to me. It can be, you know, it really makes the game much more variant.
At the beginning of the game, you select a space of it because normally at the beginning of the game, the space that is the center where the dice is that the one that's off limits for a while?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's off limits until you form a line of 3 in a row.
So is the Dominican way is that at the beginning, this that spot is not there. It's not always there, but
No,
it's
no, no,
decided
no.
on.
No, Dominic's method at the end of the game, or before you score, you remove pieces so that everybody has an equal chance. So that everybody will have a mathematical equality of pieces that they've all played. And the one person that has an extra piece, or the two people that have extra pieces, they have those removed to make everybody equal in terms of the number of pieces they've played.
Who does the removing? The opponents do, or the person does?
The opponents do. You better ask your mom because she's the oldest person to ever play.
Mm. And then the Dominican way is how?
That the people that played first would select one space that would be excluded from the game so that they wouldn't have anything removed, but this space would be off limits for the duration of the game.
Hmm?
For that,
Hmm.
not the game, but the round. So it
So
much more variability.
so whoever occupies that space is protected.
Nobody occupies that space.
Oh, it could be space number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
That's right, on either
on
side.
either side. Is no man's land, demilitarized zone,
DMZ.
DMZ, as in Dominic Zorzingi. No. Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna go make some breakfast now.
Hmm.
I'll leave
Wow.
you people in peace. Dawn is on her way to get her eggs. And remind your mom that she remains the oldest Colombian to ever play Vinci.
Hmm. You mean there's someone non-Colombian that has played it that's older?
No one above the age of 99.
Hmm.
Hi, Joel,
Okay.
and I'll connect with you in my new player.
Yeah.
Here in the next week or so we can start planning out so I can learn. I'm excited.
Okay, also, Dawn, there's a gentleman from Russia or Ukraine, I'm not sure, who hasn't played yet either, and he might like to join. So once the two of you are up to speed, we could consider having a three-way game if you're willing.
Yes, connect us all together. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, first let's get the two-player game to the point where everybody's comfortable. And then we'll see about adding other people from around the world. So we'd have Canada, United
Jap-
States,
Japan?
Japan. Yeah, Hiroshi's an expert. He plays Japanese chess. He would have to handicap everybody, I think. And I played with a gal from India last night who's a computer scientist. And man, did she grasp this game fast. I was trying to give her tips and she was no, I know that. So she
Wow.
already after two or three rounds had a strategy. And you're old like me, you forget how quick
Wow.
to learn.
She sounds awesome.
Yeah. Amelia. Okay, guys, have a good day. Have a good weekend.
All right,
Thank
too,
you
John.
for being here and entertaining us with Da Vinci game.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some eggs.
So what have we learned today? Well, we could let's try something interesting. Let's see if I can do this. So let's see if I can share. Share.
Be right back.
I wonder if I can share. No, I can't share my screen. I can share
I've got a lesson for the day.
Google Drive, Box, photo, document, web URL. Now, what if I shared this web URL?
Is this the equivalent of digital navel gazing?
Let's go. Oh, what happened? Let's go back. Oh, I have to bring up what I.
Remember, this is
here's-
not a pipe.
No. Let's go back. Let's see what we've learned. Yes, it is. Where's Zoom? Did I close Zoom?
Have a
There's the-
wonderful morning. My wife, by the way, says that that the internet deadens your soul. So everyone who's on it, get off it now and go outside and play.
Or at least find
Oh.
a wife to play with.
Yes, there you go. Good luck, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you. Just the two of us. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. And I'm feeling good. Yes, there's new opportunities in the horizon. So how do we find them? How do we take risks? That's what we need to find out. Oh, let's see. Maybe I should go eat breakfast while Don is looking for the egg. Let's see. Oye. El desayuno. Uy, ya lo preparó.
Voy a pedir tu desayuno.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm.
Tenías el pelo al revés, Jairo.
Mm.
Anoche no la limpiaste.
Mm.
Porque sí, hizo popó y estaba el popó sucio, Jairo. Hay que poner atención. Y ahora esta mañana, cuando la saco, estaba toda mojada. Tú no
Mm.
la miras, no le pones atención. Hay que bañarla bien y cambiarle el diaper.
Mm.
Lo voy a
Okay, I'm back, Cairo. Everybody left us.
Just the two of us.
That sounds like a song. Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
Okay.
It's a new day. It's a new dawn. It's another song.
Yes, let's see. They've got Delta Dawn, and then what else they sing?
Yes.
Oh, Mrs. Robinson, they sing.
Yes. All these lyrics running through my head like mantras, like prayers.
So, yeah, what do you have planned for this weekend?
This weekend. Let's see. What would be nice to do this weekend? Maybe I could.
I was thinking
Maybe I
about
could. Maybe I could. Oh, maybe I could feed my mother. Feed her breakfast.
Hi, Mama.
Oh, papaya.
Yes, I love it.
Maybe. Isn't Mother's Day coming up?
I think so.
Maybe. Yes, because there's on Facebook I have over 2,000 friends. So, and 99% of them I don't pay attention to, but there's a few that come up with interesting things, like Rami and Yeo Wang. Yes,
I realize that I don't communicate with people on Facebook very much either, unless it's, topic related, something I'm interested in. But I don't get pulled into politics or any of that stuff anymore. I don't argue or debate online anymore. I've changed.
Debate. Oh, there's Steve Robinson. Oh, I'm going to add him as a friend. Rebel Without a Clue. I think that's the Steve Robinson that, maybe it's the same one that came to one of our meetings, and he was very militant towards what one of us said. Maybe it was you, maybe it was Dominic, and he found our group to be very wacky or something like that. that was not to his level of philosophical debate or what is this level of expectations, or no level of I don't know.
Whatever level he had, what we were there. Wow.
Level of philosophical standards, maybe.
Could be. I'm glad we didn't measure up, to be honest.
Measure up to his standards.
I'm learning to embrace that, because you know what? I'm not going to agree with everybody, and everybody's not going to agree with me. And it seems like we're all trying to turn everybody into us. We're trying to make everybody believe the way we believe, instead of just letting everybody believe what they want.
No, maybe that's another Steve Robbins. Let's see if I can find the post that could be related to Mother's Day. Let's see. Mm,
Do you
There's a
take your
post.
mom for Mother's Day? Do you take her out for like a meal, brunch or something? What do you do for Mother's Day?
Oh, maybe I could. Maybe I could take her to a restaurant that is it's like say a Colombian restaurant. She's from a part of Colombian that's very country like and have distinct food and customs, and maybe and they have a restaurant of that kind.
Mm.
Of a like a yes, a valley in Colombia that is agricultural and yes, and they have certain foods that restaurant offers. I've taken her to that one before, and others have too, and she liked it. But lately, well, I haven't taken her anywhere lately, so maybe I could take if they allow me to. It's kind of hard to take her because she's now more disabled or requires a walker and even a chair, a wheelchair. Well, a portable one that's
Yeah.
22 pounds.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
You have to have a care. Everybody's different, but for me, I do not like I don't like going out for a special day to a crowded restaurant. I don't like that. I like being in a place with my own people, doing my own thing, like maybe like a potluck at home or something like that is good for me. It's also cheaper and even comfortable.
Yeah.
So could be your mom might want that. Maybe have her friends and family over, share a meal together, watch a show.
How's she doing in breakfast? Yeah.
No llores, ¿ok? Todo el mundo te está escuchando a llorar como un bebé. Deja de llorar. Ven.
She has motor function. She has motor function issues. Or she's.
Oh, a little bit of shaking
Or she
here.
can feed herself.
A little shaking.
Awesome.
Little.
So I guess Dominic is not going to join us. So with just the two of us, or we can just be done for today. What do you want to do?
Okay, maybe I'll let you go, and so that you can drive safely, and I can watch her.
Hi, Mama.
Mm. Mm. Oh.
Ay, ¿quién es esa? ¿Mm?
Mm.
Mm.
Okay, Michael. And I'll call you. I'll call you later. I'll call you
Okay.
later and talk about cognitive business Orlando.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Have a good weekend.
You
Bye.
too.